Hi guys, in my last video I showed you how to create this basic body block having a shoulder dart and a waist dart using a completely free online dress pattern drafting software called the Fashioner. If you don't know what the Fashioner is and this is the first time you're stumbling across this particular video, I want you to know that this is video 005 of my pattern drafting course online. So you need to go ahead and watch video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. For you to be able to understand this particular video. Now in this video, I'm going to be creating the back part of this pattern. I'm not going to spend as much time as I did to create this, so it is advisable you go ahead and watch how I created this so that you're going to understand most of the terminologies I'm going to be using with this. Because if you do not watch this, you might not be able to understand when I'm doing the back part. So that being said, let's go ahead and let me start with the back part. Again, I have a link below this video so that you can download the actual measurements you need to create the front and the back part. So this is just a continuation from the video of the front part. First and foremost, we'll measure the distance from here to here. And to measure the distance, we normally go to utilities, distance between points. So we choose the 2 points and calculate. That is 2.5 centimeters. So I'm going to create another 2.5 centimeters. So what I'm going to do point from point. Go to point, add point from points. It's going to be from here. And I'm going to click continue. And when we are going to this part of the y-axis, it's going to be positive. So it's going to be 2.5 centimeters. Enter. Okay, I'm wrong. It's the other side. So it's going to be a negative. So it's going to be a negative 2.5. And we are going to enter. And that is our point there. And we are going to save. Now we are going to join this point to this point. So that will be go to point. Go to lines, add line, select start and end point. So it's going to be from here to here. So that's it. And I'm going to label this point as point P. And to label the point, we come here to utilities, add text at point. And then we are going to select where I want to add the text. So I'll select where, I'll continue, and I'm going to label that as point P. As I said, once you watch my other video, you're going to be very clear with all this. So we've labeled that point as point P. Next, I need to measure my back full width from this point towards this y-axis. Remember, towards this side is going to be a negative before the value. And my full back width is 24.1 centimeters. So I'm going to go to points and I'm going to add point from point, and it's going to be from here. It's going to continue. Y-axis, I'm going to add a negative, as I said, 24.1 centimeters. And I'm going to click enter, and that's my point here. So from here to here is my full back width, and I'm going to save it. And of course, I'm going to draw a line just like I did before. So we are going to go to lines, add line, and it's going to be from here. It will be from here. Cancel. Start from here. So that is difficult because there are 2 points there. So you have to be very careful. So that is my back full width measurement where I've labeled as point Q. And from here, I'm now going to measure my center back waist length. Center back waist length. Please refer to the download to know how to measure your center back waist length. And I'm going to be taking it from here to here. And remember, this is the x-axis. So it's going to be positive x. So we are going to do point to point, add point from point, continue, x, and that is 45.7, and enter. So that is it right here. And I'm going to draw a line from there to there. So now I've joined the line, and this will serve as my center back. To get these particular letters here, you just go to utilities, go to add text between points, then it will tell you to choose the point, and then you write your text. It's as simple as that. It is well explained when you watch this particular video. Now I'm going to square a line from point K to meet the center back. First of all, I have to find out what's the distance between here to point K. So I get the same distance on my center back and square the line to meet point K. So now we are going to be calculating our back dart width. And we are going to use the same formula we used to calculate our front dart width. So that simply means I'm going to calculate the distance between point Q and point P, and I'm going to subtract it from my back waist width plus 1/4 of an inch. Now, to find the distance between the two, I've told you before, you just go to utilities, and distance between points, you go to Q, go to P, and then you calculate. This is 21.6. I'm going to write it down, 21.6. And then my back waist width plus 1/4 of an inch is 19.0. So I need to subtract 21.6 from 19.0. That will give me 2.6 centimeters. Now it is that 2.6 centimeters that will be the full width of my dart. But then what's going to be the distance between this and the first leg of the dart? So we are going to measure 3 inches. That's about 7.6 centimeters from point Q to form the first leg of my dart. So I have placed my dart lines. Remember I said our complete dart is 2.6 after doing the calculation of subtracting my back waist width plus 1/4 of an inch from distance Q to P. And that's where I got the full width of my back dart. And when I divide it into 2, that will be 1.3 and 1.3. So I'm going to square down this line here, and then I'm going to just draw my darts. Now to be able to find the point here, just calculate the distance. Let's see, calculate distance between points. We're going to calculate distance between this point and this point, and that is 8.90. So what we are going to do now, we are going to do point from point, that is from point S. We are going to come down 8.9, so that we'll draw a line from there to meet here, to form the center line of our dart. And that will be going back to point, add point from point, and we are going back here, go to continue. Now we are coming down the y-axis, so it's going to be negative 8.9. Enter. I keep making that mistake. It's supposed to be not negative. 0.9. Enter. And there we have our line, and then we save it. Now we are going to make a line from here to here. We go to our lines, add line, and we are going to choose here, we are going to choose here, and we are going to continue. And then we are going to save, and then we are going to add another line. Add line is going to be from here to here. Continue, save, add line from here to here, continue, save. And that is our that. So next we are going to continue from here. Now a little correction before we go on to construct our neck curve. When you're doing the first leg of your dart for your back pattern, please make the distance from Q to the first leg of your dart to be the same distance from C to the first leg of the front dart. So do that correction. Remember, I did not give that value. I gave another value. So that's the correction that must be made here. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to be drawing our neck curve. And to do that, we are going to measure our back neck width from point R. To get your back neck width, you get your front neck width measurement and add 1/4 of an inch. And for me, my front neck width measurement is 7.5 centimeters. And when I add 1/4 of an inch, which is 0.6 centimeters, it's going to give me 8.1 centimeters. So from this point R, I'm going to mark 8.1 centimeters. I've added my back neck width, that is my 8.1, and I've also measured the same 8.1 along this QP line. I've given a point here for 8.1, and I've formed my line here, and I'm going to label this point as my point T. As you know, to put a point, to put a text at point, just add text at point. I'll keep repeating it because so that you get used to it. So we just put a point there, continue, and then we're going to add text T, enter, and that's our text there. And then we save it. Now you're going to get your back full length, and your back full length, we are going to get it from this point. And we're going to measure from this point the back full length going through this point. And my back full length is 47 centimeters. So I'm going to go to point, add point from point, and I'm going to start from here. And I'm going to continue. And remember, it's the x-axis and it's towards the right, so it's positive. So I'm going to put my 47 centimeters, which is my back full length. I'm going to enter. As you can see it right here, and I'm going to save. So now I'm going to draw a line, add line, from this point to that my back full length point, and I'm going to continue. That's the line, and I'm going to save. So, and I'm going to call that point U. So let's now add letter, add text at point, and I'm going to call this point my point U. Save. So now we are going to draw our curve from point R, going to point T to point U. To get our curve, remember, we go to curves, we go to add curve, we select the beginning and the ending, which is this point. Sometimes it's difficult when you have 2 points there. Good. And then continue. Curve point 1 is okay. Continue. So now I'm now going to curve it to form the neck curve. So that is our neck curve, and then we are going to save it. So that's how you do your neck curve for your back pattern. We'll now connect point U to point M to form the back shoulder length. So let's get our lines. Let's connect point U to point M. And let's continue. Now, to get your first leg of your back shoulder dart, you're going to get your shoulder length measurement. You divide it by 2 and add 1/4 of an inch. I repeat, get your shoulder length measurement, divide by 2. Shoulder length measurement, add 1/4 of an inch, and then divide by 2. And that will give you the first leg of your dart. And we're going to be measuring from point U. Mine is 5.4 centimeters. So I'm going to do add point from point. That will be from this point. Correction, please. That should be add point on line, not point from point. If you do point from point, it will come straight. And this shoulder is slanted, it's not straight. So it will be point on line, and then we are going to choose the line. This is the line we want. Continue. It is on the line. Continue. So you can see all you have to do now is to move the scale till you get what you want. And I want 5.4. So I'll just write it there. 5.40 and enter. And then I'm going to save it. So I'm going to connect this to this apex, to this point of the waist dart. So I'll just get a line, add line. I'll just connect this to this. Continue, save. Okay. Now, our dart width is going to be 0.5 inches, and that's about 1.25 centimeters. So we are going to measure that. We are going to do point at the same add point on line. Select this line, continue, online, continue, and I'm adding 1.25. I'll just add it there. Enter, and I will save. Good. Now that vanishing point for the back is not normally so long. So the distance is normally about 3 inches. It's not normally so long. And that's about 7.5 centimeters. And I've added it by using the add point online. So what I'll do now, I'll now complete my dart by forming a line between this point and this point. And I'm going to label it. That will be 0.7, I think, 0.7. 0.8 and 0.9. So now let's get our full back shoulder length. Remember, the half back shoulder length was 5.4 for my own. Whatever your half back shoulder length was, you're going to add the same amount from 0.8 along this shoulder line. So mine was 5.4, so I'm going to go to point on line, and I'm going to highlight the line that I want, that is this line, and I'm going to continue on the line. You should be used to this by now, and it's supposed to be 5.4. So I'll just put 5.4 there. And enter, and that's my shoulder, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to call this point V. shoulder blade level width plus 1/4 of an inch. Remember, this particular place, as I said, is your back width depth, and my back width depth is 12.7. I'm going to square it down with my shoulder blade level width plus 3/4 of an inch. And for me, that is 20.7. So I'm going to do add point from point. It's going to be from this point, continue, and this is my y-axis. So it's going to be y-axis. I will now add 20.7. I'm going to enter. And that is my 20.7, and I'm going to save it. So now I'm going to come in with, from the K, with 0.6 centimeters. So I'm going to do point, add point from point. That is from point K. So now we are going to be drawing our back arm curve, and it's going to be from point V to point X down to this point K. So we are now going to be using curves. Add curve. So it's going to start from here. That's my start point, and this is going to be my end point. Continue, and I think I'm going to take 2 points, 2 curve points. That means the point that will help me to draw the curve. So continue and save. So let's now draw our curve. So you click on the points and then adjust your curve so that you can have a good, nice looking back arm curve. Remember, that's our point. Good. So put a little bit there. And a little bit there. So that is our arm curve, and when you're satisfied with it, the way it looks, just click on Save. And that is our back arm curve. Good. So put a little bit there. And a little bit there. So that is our arm curve, and when you're satisfied with it, the way it looks, just click on Save. And that is our back arm curve. So to conclude this pattern drafting, the back part of our waist and shoulder, that pattern drafting, we are going to be adjusting the legs of this dart. Most times when you do a dart, it is not, the legs are not equal because this line is slanted. So first we have to adjust the dart, and then we have to register the dart. So to adjust this dart leg, you just go to darts, you go to adjust that leg, select the point of that leg that is the correct length. So it's going to be this point. The dart, first of all, must be registered before I adjust the leg. That is, the Pattern Maker Pro must know that it is a dart, and we need to register it first. So let's register the dart. Select the dart pivot point. This is the pivot point of my dart. Continue. Select the dart leg point that will stay. Now, you know that if you're folding a dart, especially a horizontal dart, it folds towards the seam. I mentioned it when I was doing this video. Your darts, horizontal darts, are folded towards the seam. Vertical darts are folded towards gravity. So this is the pivot point, and the dart leg that will stay is this one, because you're going to fold this one over this one. So my dart leg that will stay is this one, and that is what I'm going to choose. So it's going to continue. Select the dart leg point that will fold over. So this is the dart leg point that will fold over, and continue. Selected the points representing the fold direction. So where is it folding over? It's folding over to this side. So I'm going to select this point. I hope you're understanding, because it is going to fold from here towards this direction. So the next point is this point. So that is going to continue. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it back. Let me give it a name. So I've given it a name, back sloper shoulder dart, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to save it. So that is our dart. We now have our dart. So now we have it. I think I can now adjust the leg to ensure that it's correct. So let's see, adjust that leg. Select the point of that leg that is the correct length. This is the correct length. Continue, and then save. So I'm going to measure to see whether it's correct, because I'm not seeing anything move here. I've measured the distance from here to here and from here to here, from 9 to 7 and from 9 to 8, and it's the same length. So that means that is correct. So I'll go ahead and register this dart using the same method. So now let's put finishing touches to our pattern. Let us make it look nice. Remove all these green dots and all that. So to remove these dots, just go to points, delete points, and then we are going to mark all the points that we want to delete. It's as easy as that. Now, to remove all these alphabets and numbers, we'll now go to Utilities, Delete Text. So we're going to select all the text, and then we are going to delete it. So our pattern is clean now. So let's rotate it so that it will look much better. We go to layers, and let's see, rotate layer. I'm on the fashion draft. Select pivot point. Let me select this point. Continue. Then I'm going to rotate it. I want it to, let me bring it, I want it to stay straight. Why is it going that way? Not a bit. That's what I want. Good. Okay. So I can save it. I can just draw it there. So that is our pattern. That is the front. And this is the back. So now once you're done with the pattern, you can go ahead and download your pattern. But first you need to label it. You know, put your size, put your name. If it is for you, if it is for a customer, just label it. To do that is quite simple. You just go to Utilities and add text between points. Then they will ask you select 2 points for text placement. Let me see. Let me select this point and this point, so I can put my text in between there. So I can write like front pattern cut 2. continue. Okay, looks too much. I think I can work on it again to adjust it so that it can be in between this line. I've gone ahead to remove all the lines and any extra dot that is available. Always ensure you remove all the dots, because if you don't do that, when you want to print, it will take up so much paper. So once you removed all the unnecessary dots and lines, you can now go ahead and click File and then Export PDF and then A4. And once you do that, it will tell you to select the parts you want to hide. That is the draft layer. We are now on the draft layer. And then all you have to do is to click OK. And then you go to Layers, go to Layer Visibility. And then once you click this, it will hide all these dots and everything. So if I click Fashion Draft, it removes all the draft layer and leaves all these other parts that are there. So this is the parts that we are going to print out. Okay, so that is it. It has printed it right here. So if I click there now, so that is our pattern. So that's our pattern that you're going to put together. So that's it. That's our pattern. You don't know how to put this together. I have a video which I will link below this video on how you can put your patterns, your PDF patterns together and cut it before you place it on your cloth and cut it. So with this, I've come to the end of this video. It's a long one. I didn't want it to be this long, but unfortunately it's long. So go ahead and try your hands on Pattern Maker Pro. It's completely free. And the good thing about it is that the more you try it, the more you get to know how to use it. So try your hands on it. Write your comments if you have any challenges, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. Till next time in my next video.